guys, today I'm going to talk about something known as osmosis. Osmosis is the diffusion of water in and out of a cell. Now there's three states depending on the water concentration inside and outside of the cell. One is your hypertonic state, which is when you have more water outside of your cell compared to inside. So say I have a cell here, it can be any kind of cell, say a eukaryotic cell, and what happens is the concentration of water, which I'll show you in a different color, this green will be water, each dot represents a molecule of water. The green dots represent your water molecules. Now on the outside, we're going to have more water because it's a hypertonic. So as you can see, I have lots and lots and lots of green dots outside of my cell. Now what happens with diffusion, the reason why diffusion happens is to get rid of some of the concentration and make what we know as an equilibrium. An equilibrium is when the same concentration is available outside and inside of your system. So using an arrow, these blue arrows will show you which way the water will travel. And since the concentration of water outside of the cell is greater than inside the cell, it will go from the outside to the inside of the cell. Now, as anything, you would know that if you have too much water within your system, you have the tendency where your cell will burst. So if too much water goes in, then you'll be left with just a small cell that's broken. It doesn't do anything. It's bursted. Now, the other situation is where you have a hypotonic, which is the opposite situation. Once again, with hypotonic, you have a cell. Once again, let's make it a eukaryotic cell. And in this situation, what happens is the water concentration within the cell is greater than outside. So once again, the green dots represent my water molecules. And then here I only have very little water molecules. And in this situation, as you may have guessed, the water will travel from inside of the cell to outside of the cell, from all directions, to make an equilibrium. This, on the other hand, will make the cell collapse. So you'll have something that looks kind of like a messed up star for a cell, because it's imploded. There's your nucleus. Okay, it'll get imploded. So everything will go inside from the edges. Your membrane will break through. Now, this is what we know as hypotonic. So just to review, hypertonic was when there was a greater concentration of water outside of the cell compared to inside. And hypotonic is when there's more water within the cell as opposed to outside. Now, there's one situation which is the ideal situation for any cell, which is known as isotonic. And in the case of isotonic, which like I said was the ideal situation, you have a cell where the concentration of water inside and outside is the same. It's in equilibrium. So say if I have 6 water molecules here, around it, there'll be the same amount of molecules. So with isotonic, since the amount of water molecules inside and outside the cells are identical, you'll have your equilibrium. So the same amount of water going into your cell is the same amount that's exiting. And this is why your cells don't collapse in on themselves. And that's why you have stable cells. Subscribe to me so you guys can see some cool videos doing science and experiments and maybe learning something new. Thanks!